That is the sound of a distracted, divided, and dead American until they hear. Battle for freedom, triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Hello everyone, this is Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 50 Radio, and I'm glad that you're joining me as we have another day. Listen, it's a day after sun and so much that's been going on for the last, I don't know how many days, and we're just so happy. I'm not going to lie to you, I am kind of a little bit on a high because of the fact that yesterday I had a lot of fun with my family yesterday evening, spending time yesterday getting some snowball fights in and just having a great time. If you're not getting out with your family, you are messing this thing up. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 50 Radio. And what's really beautiful about this, my website, Battle4Freedom.com. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go there, and if you can, share it out with as many people as you possibly can. Also, if you can, start your day off with a little bit of American Pride Roasters coffee. Let's see if we can get that one underway so you can understand I'm always going to be talking about APR coffee because I love the stuff.
That's it. I've hit the snooze button a dozen times, and now I have to finally get going. But I'm not going to do this day right if I don't start it off with a cup of American Pride Roasters coffee, the official coffee of Mojo 50 Radio. But I'm not going to lie to you. They have a wide variety of blends, but I'm leaning towards the one that's named after me, Watson's White Chocolate Caramel. You know what? It sounds as good as those words that just rolled off of my mouth. Listen, get it today. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you, and you want Watson's White Chocolate Caramel blend to start your day off. Join American Pride Roasters Coffee and Mojo 50 Radio, and most important, Battle for Freedom, as we celebrate the best coffee in the nation. American Pride Roasters.
Yes, American Pride Roasters coffee. You can't go wrong with that. And again, tell them the Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you. And if you want to, you can interact with this program. A lot of people have chosen to do this. See, already we have Heidi, we have Linda, we have Carolyn. Good morning. They went to facebook.com/Mojo50 Radio, and they decided that they wanted to leave a comment, okay? You can do this too as we get into Happy Follydays when Stupid says, hold my beer. Instead of happy Follydays, it's Happy Follydays. And good morning, Sarah. Thank you for being part of this. Another great Mojo 50 Radio fan. And so thank you, every last one of you who've decided that you wanted to be part of this program. So Happy Follydays. Where am I going to go with this? Because of the fact that it seems like when everything gets crazier, you can only expect it to get worse. Now, before I get into that, one of the things that I want to talk about, this has been kind of critical in terms of people being affected, people being concerned I'm from New York, and New York has been battered again by not just it's already been going through a lot of troubles with the COVID-19 and everything like that, and lockdowns and restrictions and things like that, but New York has been hit with a massive level of, they said, storm gale slams the East Coast with 2 feet of snow in the worst nor'easter in the decade, with 161 crashes in Maryland, pileups in New York, power outages for thousands, and governors telling millions to stay at home. So, folks, weather is no joke. Weather's no joke. When things get serious, things get challenging, and what we need to do is we need to make certain that we keep people lifted up. You know what? You probably live in warm weather. You don't have to worry about bad weather. You don't have to worry about inclement moments or worrying about natural disasters affecting you. Probably not a concern for you, but I know it is a concern for a lot of individuals. So let's in the season to be jolly and the season to just. Let's move away from the folly for a moment here and keep people lifted up because of the fact that we know that a lot of people are probably going to be affected and losing their livelihood. And in the process of doing that, in the process of losing their livelihood, let's keep people lifted up here because some of them may not be able to struggle or cope with this. Sometimes people struggle with coping with issues, and I'm glad we have sponsors like New Life Holistic.
Does your mind seem like it often shuts down before it even starts? Sounds like you need to detox to improve your health in body, mind, and spirit. I'd like to tell you about New Life Holistic. It is an amazing therapy process that uses neurofeedback and biofeedback for many issues that ails everyone. New Life's method and approach to health, balance, energy, and vitality is what sets it apart from anything you have experienced ever before. Call 1-833-4-BIO-LIFE and tell them Watson from Battle4Freedom has sent you. One more thing. Give them the code MOJO50 and save $50 off of your first session. The consult is free. New Life Holistic.
Yes, New Life Holistic, folks. Share it out with as many people as you possibly can. Everyone, thank you. Also, I see that Curtis and Carrie have also joined and had a very, I'm just appreciative of you being part of here. Linda saying yesterday in Maryland, we had a big snowfall in the afternoon, then it turned to sleet and then rain last night. And I woke up this morning with about another an inch or two in the ground. Honestly, I wish there was a little bit more snow because my wife, so we bought boots yesterday. I wish we had them earlier, probably would have been out sooner with the girls playing in the snow. But needless to say, we already had snow pants. We had their coats and we actually got the boots, and we have some great video footage of the family playing out in the snow and building snowmen, and just it touched our hearts watching the girls just plop right into the snow and start making snow angels. They didn't even think anything of it, and they felt invincible in their snow pants, and so it was kind of cool yesterday. It's just a great time. Kurt's talking about a lot of fat stories. Same here. This host is definitely a little bit too on the jolly side. But let's keep the people who are dealing with the nor'easter. Let's keep the people who are in the horrible weather in our prayers. Okay. So let's get into this whole idea of the happy Follydays. So speaking of New York and keeping them in your prayer, I saw this, and it's just like sometimes when you sit here and you think they can't get dumber. It's like, no, they didn't. They really didn't say that. They really didn't do that. And come to find out that they actually did. New Yorkers basically are saying that New York state lawmakers say that they plan to raise taxes on residents earning more than $1 million that could be backdated to plug the $8.7 billion shortfall. Because of the fact that too many people are exodusing, they're leaving. And speaking of Exodus, I'll be in the book of the Exodus next Wednesday, as we do Wednesday in the Word. But there's been a massive exodus of people leaving New York because of the insanity going on there. Not because of the COVID, but because of the communism of the people who are in control. So this is what happens, is when you entertain folly, when you entertain the idea of taxing your people out to wazoo, they don't stay around. And see, this is what, before I get more into the story, this is what I love about the reality that people don't seem to understand. When the people want communism, the people want socialism, the people want more and more government programs. So let's get back, before I can, I'll talk more about on the image that I have on the overlay and everything like that here. People want more government. People think that it's better. So let's go to the image that I have for my cover photo for this program. So if you look at person number one, that's a lot of us who would consider ourselves constitutionalists. We appreciate the Constitution. We live by the Constitution. And you know what? We're not hypocritical when it comes to our rights and the rights of other American citizens. We're going to turn around and basically say you shouldn't basically penalize a Christian baker, but you also shouldn't penalize a business who basically says that you have to wear a mask coming in. If we have to respect the sovereignty of one business, we have to respect the sovereignty of another business. That is the constitutionalist, who's pure to its moment. Even though there may be drawbacks in respecting the rights of other individuals, the constitutionalist says that the government is to be restricted by the Constitution, not the American citizen. I don't know where you may find yourself on this, but you know what? I understand. As I break this thing down, and the whole idea of the happy Follydays is that a lot of people in their realm of politics believe that they find themselves in some particular way. They call themselves a Republican. They call themselves this obedient person to the cause of liberty and so much more. But let's look at the real picture of American politics and where we may fall into this, because of the fact that you could be number one. You could be the person who's abiding by the Constitution. But you know what? Unfortunately, you've put a lot of hope and a lot of trust into the Republican Party, hoping that they would do what's right. But they are the ones who are cutting the limb. They're severing your limb from the tree of life, or liberty, the tree of liberty in America, because of the fact that they can't stop spending. Because they can't stop spending. A lot of Republicans who have lost and hear me when I say this to you. A lot of Republicans, when they lost their zeal for righteousness, when they lost their zeal to be constitutionalists, when they lost their zeal to serve we the people, is because there was a dollar factor, there was a money factor that was entertained, and it basically sacrificed everything that really mattered. Their character and their integrity had a dollar amount. There was a dollar figure attached to that, and unfortunately, their character has been wanton. It has been lost in the midst of a sea of green with numbers and zeros behind them. Not decimal points, but tons and tons of zeros. Thank you, Lisa and Jill and Josh, for being part of this. And this, and yes, Carrie, New York and California have always been expensive states to live in. I left New York almost 25 years ago. This May will be 25 years ago that I left New York. I came here in 1996, and I'm glad. I have a beautiful bride. I have wonderful children. And I do not, there are aspects of New York I miss, but not the taxes and not the insanity. No way. No thank you. No desire to return to that. But let's get back into the craziness of what they're doing in New York. Check this out. This is Mayor Cuomo. I mean, not Mayor. Yeah, Governor Cuomo.
Fighting this fight for months. I believe President Biden will correct the situation. He has said it publicly, privately. He gets it. The problem is he has to get into office. So you're talking about February, March of next year. The question is, what do we do to get from now till next February, March? We can't lose essential workers and essential organizations, especially with what we're doing now. So the state is going to advance $1.5 billion to organizations that need cash flow between now and next February, March, when we expect the federal government will tell us that they're going to be helpful and what that amount of funding is.
So here it goes.
But we understand we have to get from here to there.
We understand.
And we need them to function. So we'll have up to $1.5 billion that we will advance until that point. Some people are talking about doing a tax increase.
Hello.
Look, at this rate, we're going to need tax increases. The question is, how much of a tax increase?
Now, so this is the thing about it. Well, we sit here and we tell you that New York is going to advance $1.5 billion. And you sit here and you're like, oh, that's beautiful. That's wonderful. You're going to help all these businesses out. And here is the quintessential question that needs to be asked when it comes to, yes, Carrie, I caught that. Biden will save everyone. That's really hilarious, and thanks for joining, Paige. Here's a big quintessential question that is so key to being basically asked, and it must be answered. Free schooling, free health care, free education, free healthcare, free, food vouchers, and all these other different things. Who pays for this? The government says, I have all this money. We're going to bail you out. We're going to bail you out. The bailouts are nothing but a lie and a distraction because of the fact that we are the ones who are paying for the nightmare. We are the ones who are paying for the nightmare. And you sit here and you wonder, how in the world did it ever come to this? Lord, please help us. Lord, please help us, because people don't seem to understand. You have to raise taxes, and that means that someone has to pay the bill. And then everyone says, well, pay your fair share. Well, it can't be a fair share if not everybody is paying this. And we know that not everybody pays taxes. We know that everybody doesn't pay taxes. Yeah, you gotta love it because of the fact that here it is. We're looking at more taxes to be paid. We're looking at more taxes to be paid. American citizens have been screwed over in New York. That's why I left 25 years ago, because I knew I couldn't afford to breathe. I couldn't afford to walk. I couldn't afford to do anything. I couldn't even pay attention. That's how broke I was in New York. I was too poor to pay attention. And this is the folly of believing that you're going to continue, the city that never sleeps. Oh yes, the New York City is about to go in full snooze mode. Not, there will be lockdowns, but I tell you, there will be full snooze movements as American citizens in New York are forced with the idea of paying more and more taxes. The high wage earners are gone. The businesses are leaving. They don't want to stick around. You're about to see, as Texas may decide to secede from the union, you can see a lot of different companies moving themselves to Texas. And they're like, we don't want to be a part of this craziness. We're done. We're tired. We're out of here. And you have to decide, what is it? Where do you want to stay? And does California and New York, living the big dream, living in the big states, living in the big city life, is it worth it? Or is it time to just recoup and restart all over and just cut your losses while you can? Because I believe a lot of people, they don't want to. They want to continue holding on, hoping, just like the people holding on, hoping that, President Trump's still going to be president. Yeah, you keep holding on to believe that things are just gonna spin around. While you sitting there hoping other people are living, other people are moving on. You just gotta get moving. Even me, there's a lot of different things that I've been slow to take on getting resolved, and now I'm back to getting these things fixed because of the fact that I just need to have them done. So here's another one I thought that was very interesting as you look at this. So the guy who keeps screwing you over and keeps thinking that it's going to be fun to just completely ruin your life. Dr. Fauci tells American citizens not to see. And before I get this, you keep thinking you can keep paying people taxes and wait to see when it all turns around and blows up in your face. Dr. Fauci tells Americans not to see their children at Christmas. And he says he won't be spending the holidays with his adult daughters for the first time since they were born. And he basically says it marks the first time in 30 years that Fauci won't get to see his daughters, Jennifer, 34, Megan, 31, and Allison, 28, for their Christmas Eve birthday and Christmas. Fauci said, while it's a painful decision, it's just one of the things that you're going to have to accept as we go through this unprecedented, challenging time. The nation's top infectious disease expert says we'll be turning 80 on his birthday. So this is the thing about it that gets me, is that he's got all his time. He's enjoyed his family, but you can't. And trust me, if someone keeps a camera around Dr. Fauci, I bet you there will be a family gathering. Just like you can't trust these other politicians not to get their hair did, to wear masks, not to be colluded in a crowd with a bunch of people who are not wearing masks, but abide by the laws and the rules that have been set. Trust me, Dr. Fauci will be with his family this weekend. There's no way around it. There's oh my goodness, believing that he's gonna abide by his own rules. Nothing but a lie. Nothing but a lie. Can you say, Satan, get thee behind me? Oh my goodness. Oh, so you know what? I'm trying to figure out how we could do this. Oh yeah, you were talking about folly. He runs around the country spewing nonsense. He's full of it. Yes, he is, Gary. He is full of it, and it's really sad. It's very, very sad. But a lot of people keep trusting him. A lot of people keep trusting that he has the answers and he knows what he's doing. That's the life, and that's the fun, and that's the reality of what we have to deal with. So let's have a little bit more fun here on some of the different things that we're talking about here. Let's look at. Oh, here's a crazy one for you. Here's a crazy one for you when we look into something here. This is this one is disgusting here. So I'm gonna do this to you. So if you've had your breakfast already and you haven't done this, I have to bring back to you that McDonald's the video that will put you off of the McRib for life. McDonald's worker reveals how the pork patty is cooked and stored in a nasty viral video. Don't say I haven't given you anything. Don't say I never give you anything. Check this out. This is a video of the McDonald's pork patty, and it just shows how they store this stuff here, and it's just not really cool when you come to the problems of the McRib. I used to eat it a long time ago, but then I finally realized that it's not a rib, and just kind of like their chicken McNugget is not chicken. He called the frozen McRib patties, which come in white and frozen and molded in the shape of a rack of ribs, nasty. After being cooked on the grill, they are stored in a warming oven before being slathered with barbecue sauce. The McRib returned to all McDonald's 14,400 restaurants on December 2nd for the first time since 2012. Disgusting. Yes, don't eat the McRib because of the fact that it was never meant to actually be something tasty or even anything healthy for you. It's complete folly to keep even calling it a McRib. It's complete folly to continue calling it a chicken nugget because it's not. I stopped eating McDonald's a long time ago. I'm even afraid to even spend $1 on their coffee. I don't know what you guys would do, but listen, this is not good when we sit here talking about the whole idea of what McDonald's would use. It's just Sarah Nichols calls Fauci a snake. I'm thinking that the McRib is probably made of some kind of mutant snake or something else, but we know that McDonald's is not serving real food. I used to have an addiction to the their Angus burgers, but even those weren't Angus. I kept fooling myself into believing I'm having a tasty real burger. Oh my goodness, my body is so much cleaner and lighter ever since I stopped. I mean, I used to work at a university university library for the School of Medicine. And there was a McDonald's just about 700, 800 feet from the building where I walked, and so it was easy to just run right down to McDonald's and have those things. And I'm glad I've basically exorcised that demon and I'm not consuming that nonsense any longer. Because of the fact that I believe that, we're sitting here, yes, Sarah, McDonald's is definitely gross. Although this, I will say, I remember 9 years ago when my wife and I, we were on our way to our honeymoon. We stopped by a McDonald's before we landed in the hotel, and we turned around and we got some of their it was like the apple pies, the cherry in the apple pies, and they were kind because we did receive an extra one from the person who was working at McDonald's, just to say happy, congratulations to being a married couple. So maybe you might be safer with the things like the pastries, but again, if the McRib and the chicken and all the other different things, and even the burgers, their Angus burgers, are questionable, I'm wondering how it would be with the other stuff. And yes, Carrie, Culver's is good. And Curtis, yes, pink slime. I did see Food Inc. If you guys didn't see this, Food Inc. is what you need to do. But let's talk more about the folly of so much more when I come back from the break. I'm your host, Watson Prunier. Talk to you on the flip side. From COVID to lockdowns, to riots, to elections, 2020 has been nothing but a constant withdrawal for people around the world, and especially the United States. It's not only the mental and spiritual withdrawals, but the financial ones as well. Many businesses are closing their doors because of the lockdowns and no income. Sadly, many Americans are finding locks placed on the doors of their homes because of foreclosure due to the loss of income from extreme lockdown measures. Total Money Makeover does not prevent the pain. It attempts to proactively mitigate in the risk of financial failure because of these uncertain times. Budgeting is more essential now than you ever could imagine. Now is the time to make certain our finances are in order. Consider ordering Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey today. It is essential. Triggering change one heartbeat at a time. That is the purpose of Battle for Freedom. My biggest challenge is helping people see that they are constantly moving and never settled. They are not settled in life because they are spiritually and mentally homeless. James Otis wrote the following on the writs of assistance in 1761. One of the most essential branches of English liberty is the freedom of one's house. A man's house is his castle. I host Battle for Freedom on Mojo 50 Radio at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday for this very reason. Our homes are tattered because we have made too many allegiances to ideologies and movements solely created to keep us distracted, divided, and distanced from our foundation. Join me on Battle for Freedom, where I trigger change one heartbeat at a time. Battle for Freedom. Welcome back, everyone. This is Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 50 Radio. I got you stuck on the screen. Yeah, well, while we're here and you got a chance to look at this, let's look at the cat cooler and basically share this out with as many people as you possibly can.
When the world is going to hell in a handbasket, you need rugged. You need strong. You need durable. You need cat coolers. These are the best coolers on the market in 27, 55, and 88 quart. Go to catcoolers.com and give them the code Watson to save 10% on your purchase. Don't settle for those substandard containers that melt, leak, and destroy your memorable moments. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you. Cat Coolers.
Yes, go to Cat Cooler and make sure that you share it out with as many people as you possibly can. Let's do another sponsor, actually, while we're here, so I don't forget this. This is Patriot Energy.
Are your energy bills getting out of hand and you want more control of your expenses? Consider Patriot Energy, a local veteran-owned solar company. You need honesty, integrity, and clarity. These markers are essential in the ever-growing solar industry. Call 602-721-6717 for a free quote. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you, and he's from Mojo 50 Radio. And that number again, 602-721-6717. Call Patriot Energy today.
Yes, call Patriot Energy today. Share it out with as many people as you possibly can because of the fact that this is about saving you power and saving you time as much as we possibly can because of the fact that this is what we do here at Mojo 50 Radio. And that's our goal, is to help you understand how important it is to have good energy, good power, and good solutions when the worst case scenario would take place. So, you know, before the break, we were talking about the McRib, the Mig Stink, the Mick Yuck. Actually, if you were to call it anything, call it the Mick Yuck, because that's what everything seems to be from McDonald's, as you try to avoid a lot of those different things. No, thank you. No, thank you. Do not do. Here's a reason why I share my concerns about the likes of a McDonald's, and you'll understand why in a second here. Alaskan healthcare worker with no history of drug allergies suffered serious anaphylactic-like reaction after getting Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine. Healthcare worker in Juneau, Alaska, suffered a severe allergic reaction within 10 minutes of receiving the Pfizer Incorporated coronavirus vaccine on Tuesday. She remains stable in the ICU and is expected to be discharged later on Wednesday. The woman has no known history of allergies and is said to be disappointed that she can't receive the vaccine's second dose. The anaphylactic-like reaction is believed to be the same one suffered by 2 British healthcare workers last week, both of whom have since recovered. Now, as we sit here, and it says it led that the UK's regulatory body to warn that anyone with severe allergic reactions to food or medicine should not get the vaccine. And in Pfizer's clinical trial, 137 people who were given the vaccine suffered allergic reactions, as did 111 in the placebo group. Well, here's the thing about it, though, is what was in that, and what we sure, was it just water, or were those needles infected with something? I don't trust a lot of those different placebo groups because of the fact that oftentimes there's something else in those different things that are being injected into people, and it does concern me. The people who should do no harm are the worst offenders of affecting the lives of American people and people around the world. And I think it is folly for us to continue to trust and believe that these people will do what is necessary to save lives. Holy moly. Guacamole. Holy moly, guacamole. So, Soylent Green. I was waiting for that to happen. Thank you, Curtis. Okay, listen, if you want to interact with this program, you have to go to facebook.com/Mojo50 Radio and leave your comments there. And while you're in the process of just navigating, I need you to do me a favor. My website's battle4freedom.com, but I also want you to go to mojo50.com, mojo50.com. /shop. I want you to make some investments, because this is not folly. This is not crazy. If you have the money, if you have the timing, you want to contribute to something that's great, contribute to Mojo 50 Radio by going to the shop right now, getting yourself a 2020 ta-da mask, as you can sit there and you can, as the countdown happens, buy your 2020 masks right now to try and get it. Forget about it being a Christmas present. You want this as a New Year's Eve event. You're going to get your 2020 mask from the Mojo 50 Radio shop, and then as the thing counts down, you would take that mask off and you would throw it in the air, because of the fact that 2021 will be a maskless year, and it will be free of restrictions, free of impositions, restrictions and lockdowns, and so much more. Mojo50.com /shop. Get it today and tell them Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you. Okay? Please get the merchandise. And again, I appreciate you doing that. If you have the time, you have the money, and you have the wherewithal to bless Mojo 50 Radio as we love blessing you. Yeah. So this person is so now people are being infected. People are being, running in through shocks. I had my doctor's appointment, and my doctor did tell me about this. He did tell me about the responses that people are getting because of the shocks, anaphylactic shocks, and anaphylactic-like reactions. So my doctor did warn me. My regular family doctor retired, so I moved on to a newer doctor. My wife has her own doctor, and it's just very interesting. And fortunately, I'm saved because of the anaphylactic shocks I have because of certain foods and allergies. So, one of those times when you have a physical ailment that just annoys you like there's no tomorrow? Now I'm so happy for the physical ailments that annoy me like there's no tomorrow. See, God causes all things to work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. Hey, I'm quoting Romans 8:28. Or we can go to the book of Ecclesiastes and we talk about there's a time for sorrow and there's a time for joy. And you know what? My afflictions are a time of joy right now, because I don't have to worry about flu vaccines nor the sterilization vaccine for COVID-19. I did say that with my outside voice. Oh, let's have some more fun here. As we sit here, we're talking about the whole idea of folly. As we talk about folly, this one is really funny, because I just let's get into this here. So Movie theaters are biting back. Cinemas are considering slashing Warner Brother ticket prices so low that the studio would get nothing back after the company's decision to release its 2021 film slate on HBO Max. Yeah, AMC and Cinemark theaters are reportedly considering dropping ticket prices, because sources claim that the drop could be between $3 to $5, with the theaters keeping between 75 to 80% of the revenue. And the revelation comes just 2 weeks after Warner Brothers announced that it would be releasing its entire 2021 film slate on HBO Max. These films will stream on HBO Max at the same time the films play in theaters. So you sit here and I say this, and the whole idea of when Stupid says hold my beer and happy Follydays is because of the fact that, you know what? We've been screwed over by you movie theaters for far too long. And now you're getting a taste of your own medicine. You've overcharged us. You've charged us way too much money for the things that we have paid for. We've been faithful stewards. We have been faithful attenders, and you keep raping us with these high prices of popcorn and drinks and candies, and then you wonder why people try and sneak their stuff in. Now, I don't do it anymore. But I remember back in New York, my days of rebellion, and I'd sit there, and this is right when Wendy's just came out with the spicy chicken sandwich. And ooh, I love me some spicy chicken sandwiches. And you know what? My coat could sit there and I could put inside my coat pocket and wrap it and you wouldn't smell it. That Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich and those Wendy's fries. I'll pay for movie theater drink and a thing of popcorn. But man, I was chowing down on some Wendy's when I was enjoying that movie theater, enjoying the movie because of the fact that I was having a real meal and I wasn't wasting my time with that movie theater fake nonsense. And it wasn't like they had a spicy chicken deluxe back then anyway. But here it is. We have been raped because of your high prices, and now they're mad. Oh, you're gonna do it at the same time? Well, why would people want to go to the movie theaters when they can actually just spend the monthly price of $25 a month and watch the movies on HBO Max? Yes. Welcome to our world. Your folly has been revisited to you after all these years, after decades of screwing American citizens over, American taxpayers, the bread and butter of your business. And COVID-19 recognized and showed you exactly how essential every American family, every American taxed out, every paying American is. And now you realize your futility. I'm not happy for the losses of employment for a wonderful. I'm telling you, you want to talk about some really cool people. The people that I've had to deal with when we go to the movie theaters, we're ordering our drinks, and some of them didn't always operate, up to a good level of professionalism, but the ones who always have that amazing smile, that amazing spirit, and they turn around and they push stuff out, I really appreciate every last one of them. I appreciate every last one of them that made my movie experience and that with my wife, every last one of them that worked their tails off. Here we have in Indianapolis, Indiana, actually in Carmel, Indiana, we have, Flick's Brew House. They're closing their theater. They're closing their doors because of lockdown restrictions. It breaks my heart. I love that establishment. Even one here inside of Indianapolis, it's basically it's a movie theater where you can go and sit down and eat. Some days it's good and some days it's bad. You just got to get the crew to basically take serious what they're doing there. And when they do, it's an amazing experience. But you know what? The movie theaters are starting to hurt just like the rest of us. And this is what you get when you decide that you're going to hurt and screw over American citizens. Period. This is what happens when you decide you're going to screw over American citizens. No way around it. No way around it. So deal with it. Deal with that reality and understand that it's going to come back and visit you. But here's the funny part about it, because it's not over on the whole idea of the folly and everything like that. With the movie theaters, and they're deciding that they want to screw everybody over. George Clooney George Clooney decides that George Clooney calls on the federal government to subsidize movie theaters after they were crippled by the pandemic, and powerful essay about the film industry. George Clooney opened up about where he sees the future of film in a post COVID-19 world, and believes that there's always going to be a great space for cinema in an essay penned for Variety on Wednesday. The 59-year-old actor is calling on the federal government to provide aid to the struggling industry to keep it afloat as it is one of the largest exporters of original product in the United States. So this is what you call hashtag desperation. Because of the fact that the likes of a Clooney and many of those other Hollywood elites, they need the movie theaters because of the fact that the movie theaters is where they made their bread and their butter. Yeah, you can make some movie in the the DVDs and all that stuff. But my goodness, when everybody was going to the theaters, when everybody was going there, this isn't about, keeping, yes, let me go to that line there where he basically says, keep it afloat as it's one of the largest exporters of original product in the United States of America. You want to know what that is? My product. I can't sell my product. I can't sell my movies. I can't have another mansion in Italy or around the world if I don't have theaters selling my product so I can live high on the hog and do whatever I want to do. See, the folly is coming to an end, as there are many of these Hollywood actors and actresses that have been fleecing the American people for far too long. They have their red globe, red carpet extravaganzas, walking around in $14,000 to $25,000 dresses and $6 trillion in jewelry and plastic surgery and so many other different things that are lining the pockets of their narcissism. And now COVID-19 has hurt your bottom dollar. You now have bills coming due. You can't keep living on credit anymore, and you can't live on the credit and hopes of American fans and people around the world. It just doesn't go like that anymore. It just doesn't work like that. Welcome to our world. Welcome to the reality that many Americans have faced, who have looked up to many of you people like you, George Clooney, and your hypocrisy and so much. As you tell people how to vote, and you sit there, you attack the president, you attack conservatives, and so much more, and you don't think that folly would not come back to you. Yes, COVID-19 has been a reset for a lot of different people in this country. It has been for those of us on the bottom to get our priorities in order and recognize what are the things that we should be spending our money on and what are the things that we should walk away from. And walking away, hashtag walk away from Hollywood, hashtag walk away from the narcissists who believe that we should do what they tell us to do. Yeah. You're not in it for the worker. You're not in it for that single parent who or even that teenager that has their first job working in a theater. You're not in it. This is for you. This is all about you. And trust me, as more and more movies, as Netflix and all these other different streaming agencies are coming out with different movies and platforms that people can appreciate, that the stuff is being made and created, and it's not on those big Hollywood budgets, but people who are getting out iPhones and other little doodads, iPhones and other little doodads to get everything working here. You can turn around and you can videotape a lot of the other different things and not worry about this and not worry about being dependent on Hollywood studios, the big names on supporting and covering you. Yeah. Bye-bye, George. And bye-bye every last one of your cronies, Mr. Cooney, and how you have basically fleeced America for far too long. Be prepared to suck it up, Buttercup, and deal with it like the rest of us. I tell you, utter hypocrisy, George Clooney. Here's the one that's really funny in terms of folly. another company, another big tech company, and you gotta love this. This is gold, Jerry. This is gold. Facebook decided that they want to slam Apple in a new ad campaign over iPhone privacy changes, arguing it will devastate small businesses and see their sales cut by 60%. I love that. I love that Alex Jones just desperation accent there. Facebook has slammed Apple over upcoming iPhone privacy changes that the social media giant argues will hurt small businesses that rely on targeted ads. The social media company took out a series of full-page newspaper advertisements attacking Apple on Wednesday, and the crux of the issue is the changes to Apple's iOS 14 that will require users to give permission in order for apps to track them for advertising purposes. The changes will restrict companies, including Facebook, from gathering data using to provide personal ads. And Facebook has argued that, and this is the one that I really love, and I love on the heartstrings of how they do this in here. Facebook has argued that the changes will be devastating to small businesses. It briefly mentioned that its own business, which earns revenue from advertising sales, would be also affected by the Apple changes. I love this. It says small businesses deserve to be heard. This is exactly like George Clooney saying, keep the theaters alive. Keep hope alive in the theaters. Facebook, let the small businesses have a voice. No. Your bottom dollar is being affected here. The people can't afford to keep paying you guys and all the money and all the revenue. Here, folks, it's starting to work. Pull your money out. When Facebook is arguing for the small businesses, but they're not arguing for conservatism, it is fine. The folly is finally coming to fruition. You have turned around and you have screwed American people over for so long. You have censored conservatives, and you believe that you could be you are this beacon of truth and fairness and equality and everything like that, but you censor people left and right. You didn't censor any of the Russian collusion claims that were out there on Facebook for all this time. You choose nothing to say anything about Russian collusion. You chose nothing. You chose not to censor any of the reportings about alleged quid pro quo from Donald Trump and Ukraine. You censor everything about the election fraud. You censor everything about this virus, and its many challenges to be verified, or even the legitimacy of how this has began. You censor anything that's about talking about the concerns of the vaccine. You censor. Facebook, boom, mic drop, baby. You're about to be censored right now because your folly is about to be visited onto you. And this is what you get when you choose to affect people in such a negative way that you don't think that stuff doesn't come back and affect you. So let's get into this whole other idea of folly and so much more, because this is one that I found this is one that I found to be very, very hilarious. And this one is about, okay, so how do I do this one here? How do I do this? This one is about a lot of people who are angry right now because of the fact that you want to fight. You don't like the corporate corruption that has been affecting us for far too long. And so you decide that you want to speak up, you want to fight. A lot of people want to go to war because of the election fraud, or they want to go to war because of the liberal progressives. They want to go to war because we want to speak out against the injustices of what's happening to American people. So here's one have you heard about the Red House that was going on in Portland? Red House protesters lift blockades from Portland occupation zone after it was revealed the family hadn't paid their mortgage since 2017 and claimed they were citizens of a sovereign nation. Hundreds, so get this, protesters in Portland removed barricades on Monday near occupation zone. Hundreds with paintball guns blocked traffic near the Red House for a week. Occupiers descended on the home after police tried to evict a family. The home family was owned by the Kinneys, who lived there since the 1950s, but lenders foreclosed on the home after the family defaulted on loan payments. The Kinneys took out the loan in 2002 after their son, William II, was arrested. He was charged with manslaughter after an 83-year-old woman died in a hit and run. Kinneys paid the mortgage for more than 13 years until late 2016. The family said it would not pay as long as they belong to the sovereign citizens movement. Now you have to understand something. A A lot of people were ready to shut down Portland because of this family. They would say it was a racist. You racist. You going after these people because of the color of their skin, and you want to kick them out with us. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. They haven't paid their mortgage in 3. What? See, I bring this stuff up because of the fact that it's Happy Follydays. Happy Follydays, because a lot of you are you're angered. Okay, I understand you're angry about what is taking place in this election process. I'm angry about what's taking place in the election process, and the voter fraud and everything like that. But there's this campaign to solicit people to march up and let's take this war to these people and let them know that you will not take over my country. A lot of people, you're a coward if you did not engage in the enemy right now in this hand. We warriors must fight. And you not realize you're nothing but pawns because you don't have the whole story. You don't have all the information. You don't even have all the celebrities, and you don't have all the people who are involved in the situation who are keeping the drama going. Whether that person has an R behind their name or a D or an L, it doesn't matter. And the people have been manipulating for you for far too long, and you keep hoping and trusting in these people that they will do the honest and respectable thing. But they're not. And you keep thinking that rise up and speak out against these people. This is going to fix the problems that affect us. You've been fooled. You've been played. And guess what? It will continue to happen again. Welcome to hashtag being used. Here's one that I think here's another one I think that's really sad because of the fact that I have enough time for this. Yes, I can do this. You have Republicans who are going out of their way right now. There's this big battle that you have between the Senate and people. You know, they're arguing against a lot of the drama here. Senators go wild at election fraud hearing as Republican Ron Johnson calls Democrat Gary Peters a liar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Which, by the way, is precisely why I brought that up in my opening statement. That should provide comfort that we have that paper backup. But I just have to talk about Russian disinformation, because the people peddling it are not on my side of the aisle. Senior Democrat leaders, including Ranking Member Peters, were involved in a process of creating a false intelligence product that was supposedly classified. They leaked to the media that accused Senator Grassley, the President Pro Tem of the Senate, and myself of accepting and disseminating Russian disinformation from Andrei Derkach. I'd never heard of the person until they brought it up. Senator Peters introduced that false information, Russian disinformation, into our investigation record. 50 people associated with the intelligence community after our Hunter Biden investigation and the revelations of the Hunter Biden computer said, "Oh, this is Russian disinformation." Now we find out, no, it's a real investigation by the Justice Department. So it's just galling, and I just have to point out that the purveyors of Russian disinformation, Hillary Clinton's campaign, the DNC, the Steele dossier, the Ranking Member Peters accusing Senator Grassley and I of disseminating Russian disinformation, that's where the disinformation is coming. That's where the false information, the lies, the false allegations. I can't sit by here and listen to this and say that this is not disinformation, this hearing today. This is getting information we have to take a look at to restore confidence in our election integrity. We're not.
It's not just the election integrity. It's not just the election integrity. Let's go back to this map for a second here. So quickly on this map here, the Republicans who keep spending, the Democrats who have no integrity, who are chopping off the branch where the Republicans and the Constitutionalists were, and you have the Biden, Harris, Clinton, Kane, Obama, Biden, American mind-controlled people who are cutting themselves from the limb. And no one will be left on the tree, because this is the real picture of American politics. So So let's move beyond that craziness, and let's actually move to something that's really cool. And this is because here's a folly that a lot of us have entertained on the attitude of gratitude. I want to do this one really quickly. Send your story to me to b4faog@gmail.com and take a look at this, because this is really cool. I'm going to be so thankful to this flight attendant who basically, her name is Sandra Jeannie Kwan, who basically decided to share this information. And I don't know if
within, to, or from the United States, and you were involuntarily bumped off your flight due to an overbooking, don't accept the voucher. Not only are the airlines required to find your alternative flight, depending on the length of the delay, you are entitled to cash. Domestic flights, you are entitled up to $1,350 cash based on your one-way ticket price. For international flights, the compensation is the same, but the delayed times are different. Go get that cash.
So thank you, Mrs. Kwan, for sharing the idea that those of you don't get the voucher, get your cash. Get your money back as you possibly can. Listen, I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom. I'm tuning out right now because happy Follydays. There's much more to come. But enjoy the craziness with every program after this, kind of like the Daily Mojo, what's up next in the morning, or even Andrew Coppins in the evening. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom. I really appreciate you all. God bless and good night.